MAGA parents hate my Mexican boyfriend, even though they're Puerto Rican. My parents had been getting worse ever since they started going to political rallies. It never made sense to me. They wore their Puerto Rican flag shirts like armor while ranting about those Mexicans ruining America. My mom would kiss her crucifix and say we were the good immigrants because Puerto Rico was part of America. My dad would nod and add that at least we weren't border jumpers and gone through everything legally. I'd been dating Miguel for 6 months, but I kept making excuses about why he couldn't meet them. He was studying biomedical engineering A with a full scholarship. His parents were both teachers who'd spent decades serving their community in Houston, but I knew my parents would only see him as another wetback trying to infiltrate their perfect Puerto Rican family. When I finally told them Miguel was coming for dinner, my mom's face twisted with disgust. A Mexican? Really, Maria? With all the nice gringos at church? My dad slammed his ear on the table and said, I better not bring any browns into his house, which made no sense, since we're literally brown. The night Miguel arrived, my parents had strategically placed all their Puerto Rican pride and MAGA decorations around the living room. My mom answered the door and immediately wrinkled her nose. He's darker than I expected, she said before he'd even stepped inside. My dad sat in his recliner drinking and didn't stand up to greet Miguel. He just looked him up and down and shook his head. Mexicans in my house. Never thought I'd see the day. He turned the TV volume up on a news segment about ICE deportations. Dinner was white rice with kidney beans and dried up pork chops. My mom made a point of saying this was real Latino American food, not slop. She kept comparing Puerto Rican cuisine to Mexican food, calling theirs greasy garbage that gave people diarrhea. Miguel politely complimented her cooking, but she just sneered. My dad started his interrogation before we even finished eating. So Miguel, be honest, where'd you cross? Tijuana, Juarez, or did your parents stuff you in a trunk? Miguel explained he was born in Texas, but my dad waved him off. They all say that. He must think we have microphones in here. My mom chimed in about how Puerto Ricans were real Americans with real citizenship. We don't need green cards or visas. We worked hard and belong here. They love us here. Not like your people who break the law just by existing. She said it slowly, like Miguel might not understand English well enough to follow. Things got worse when Miguel mentioned his academic achievements. My dad actually laughed when he heard about his scholarship. Right, and I'm the governor. I swear you people always lie about everything. I could have sworn I saw you working at the construction site by my job. My mom added that he should study something more realistic like lawn maintenance. You know what the difference is between Puerto Ricans and Mexicans? My dad asked, leaning forward. We work hard and follow the law. You people just read like roaches and live off welfare. You probably got 17 siblings, right? Little roaches munching off my American taxes. He laughed at his own joke while my mom giggled behind her hand. My dad decided to share his theory about Mexican immigrants. He went on for 10 minutes about how they were invading America to reconquer it from Mexico, how they refused to learn English and brought substances and crime, how they were replacing real Americans with their litters of anchor babies. When Miguel tried to politely defend his community, my mom cut him off. Don't interrupt when adults are talking. I wouldn't be running my mouth if I was running from the law. She crossed herself and muttered about needing to cleanse the house after he left. My dad stood up and pointed at Miguel. You see this house? I bought it with honest work and Christian spirit, not selling substances or stealing jobs from Americans. Your parents probably live in some roach-infested apartment with 30 other wetbacks. His face was getting red from anger and alcohol. Miguel stayed calm, but I could see his jaw clenching. My parents own their home. They're both teachers. They've never taken a cent of welfare. The breaking point came when my dad started talking about what he'd do if he was president. He stared at Miguel while describing separating families and putting kids in cages. My mom added that Mexican women were all breeders who had babies just for citizenship. They spread their legs for anyone. No morals, no class, just pop out babies like animals. She looked at me and said I better not end up pregnant with any brown breeds. Miguel finally stood up. I should go. Thank you for dinner. But my dad blocked his path. Yeah, run away. Typical Mexican coward. Go back to your barrio where you belong. And stay away from my daughter, you beaner. My mom grabbed my arm hard enough to bruise. If you leave with him, you're not my daughter anymore. No daughter of mine dates Mexican trash. You're a woman of Christ. Choose right now. Him or your family. Her nails dug into my skin as she waited for my answer. I looked at my parents and saw strangers. These people who taught me about Puerto Rican pride and Christianity had turned into monsters full of hate. They forgot their own history of discrimination. Forgot that Puerto Ricans faced the same slurs and stereotypes. They became the oppressors they once fought against. They rejected their culture for one that wouldn't truly accept them. I choose him, I said, pulling free from my mom's grip. She slapped me across the face and called me a hoa. My dad said I was dead to them, that I'd betrayed my race and my culture. They screamed about tainted bloodlines and shameful grandchildren as I walked out with Miguel. That was 5 months ago. Miguel's family welcomed me like I'd always belonged with them. His parents helped me finish college when mine cut me off. His little sister became the sister I never had. They showed me that family isn't about blood or nationality. It's about love and acceptance. My parents still live in their house full of Puerto Rican flags and bitter hatred. Sometimes I wonder if they realize the irony of becoming everything they claim to stand against. But mostly I just feel grateful that Miguel showed me what real family looks like. Love doesn't care about borders or birthplace. Only small scared people do.